that this short time that we have together, I really want it to be kind of like lifted out of the theory book and actually allow art to dissolve the screen as if we're in the same room, and just to encourage us to share these stories that you will hear in your own context, your own communities, and through your own creativity. So if you need to grab any paper or pens or something to be stimulated through this time, please do. And at the end, we'll have an opportunity to share back in whether it's a poem or a song, or even thoughts or ways to connect and continue building on this momentum. Then we'll do that at the end. I think I will just share a little bit of the stimulus for the in the start of the process for my residency, and then I will gladly introduce ArtBridges. Okay, so this is the first time I've done anything remotely similar to this, so beware of the technophobe. Here we go. Great. Okay, it's all ready. So I'll just set the scene of these pieces. There's 3 pieces which are called The Way, and essentially arriving in Lesvos, being confronted with the extremity of the humanitarian crisis for the first time outside of newspapers and the media was a very moving and complex thing, because the island itself is harmonious and serene, and yet you have this juxtaposition. And so what I started to do to kind of process this and also document and create something was to each sunset and each time the moon was out, would from my window, just to experiment with new instruments and sounds, and try to build up a layer of understanding as we kind of journeyed through these emotions and through the residency, and expanded my practice in the sense that I've not been used to improvising, and I'll later play a song which is more traditional, but this these pieces will illustrate what I mean. And so the second one I will show is a reflection and an ode to those who've been lost in the sea that is outside of my window. Can you hear the audio okay? is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in paths of righteousness. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. And so those were just fragments of my thought processes and yeah, I guess limbering up for what we ended up creating was a 24-minute symphony, which happens live tomorrow together, 1 hour ahead. So I guess it'll be 3 p.m. GMT tomorrow. So there'll be a link to that. But I just wanted us to hold perhaps the question in our hearts as we're, having this time together about what it means to have home, and particularly in this pandemic where we've spent more time at home than possibly ever, and then conversely what it means to lose that, and yeah, and then also for us to reflect on what the power of art, of all mediums, film, music, painting, what those mediums can do, whether we are considering ourselves as artists or not, but just the sheer reality of being human, what those I guess windows to the soul allow us to do, to communicate, to express and feel. And yeah, so they're just some reflections for today. But I'm going to play a song, but I think before that I'll say a tiny bit about what So mentioned about the Commons. I was blessed to be invited to do a master's without a degree, and it was essentially looking at culture and how culture is predominantly industrialized and has a real top-down kind of hierarchy to it, when actually culture, whether it's food or music or different art forms, they actually belong to the people. They are I guess a birthright to be able to express and understand the world. And so the Commons kind of process I'm going on is looking at how we can make music together as a shared resource that would nurture our community in terms of like the cohesion it will bring, but also once that music is sold, the revenue going back into the community for its own needs as opposed to a privatized industry. And so for my own my project after this residency will be called the Common Songbook, which focuses on that. And so enough talking, I will share a song. Yeah, and I guess the last thing to say is that now I'm based here in Greece and I have plenty of time on my hands. All the songs I'll be recording, I'm intending to give them as well to the Commons, so that instead of me owning the copyright, that they're actually a way for us to start thinking about private property and actually perhaps stimulate other people to gift things to the common good also. And instead just encourage donations to resonant causes. So yeah, this song is called No Borders on the Soul. I ventured from my motherland En route I found gentle helping hands. Life set to new rhythms, led their local dance, exchanging knowledge in a mind romance. Then a woman came as though from the sky. She looked me straight in the eye and said, "Look, child, you are not a tree. Uproot as it pleases thee, for there are no borders on the soul. Each little journey makes you whole, and there lay only a chance to grow. So pick up your freedom and find home." We must break down walls in our hearts and minds, for love casts out fear, is sure to find, revealing the story of our race, roaming our earth from place to place, from city and desert to the island bay. We're led on this path, it's clear as day. So come, flee your bondage, take courage and Godspeed, you prevail, for there are no borders on the soul. A little journey makes you whole, and there lay only a chance to grow. So pick up your freedom and find home. He was a young man, now years worn, his beautiful country memory war torn. Left all possessions for safer shores, what blame could place on wanting for? But damn the profiteers of their plight, while risking it all under cover of night, where precious lives lost to the sea. Yet we look away so violently, but there are no borders on the soul. It is a truth we all must hold, and denial leaves a human hole. The right of all people to find home. Yeah, there are no borders on the soul. It is a truth we all must know, and denial leaves a human hole. The right of all people to find home. Right of all people. The right of all people. Right of all people. Right of all people. Thank you. And it just gives me so much pleasure to now introduce to you ArtBridges. I've just been so moved recently meeting Angela and Francisca Maria Roca, and the incredible work that they're doing and have been doing for a very long time. So I just want to briefly introduce them and share the floor. That their work, so I don't know if you can see me. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, just so much of their work relates to the social innovation and how they're using art to really bridge cultures and heal divides internally and between people groups, but also that relate to really kind of key things that the UN have set out for sustainable development, like inclusion and well-being and things like that, which I think are just astounding. That is really, at the moment, one woman organization is still powering through this pandemic. And I would just love to give the floor to Angela Abalez, who is an incredible activist and art historian, and I don't know if she can, if we can have us both on the screen at the same time, or whatever works. Okay, we are. Perfect. Angela, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for even this week of preparation. I know you've been so busy with all the work that you do, and I'm just really blessed by your time. So thank you.
Thank you, Kandice.
I just wanted to just open with you just briefly telling us your experience of first coming to Lesvos at the start of the crisis and the work that you did at this time, 2015.
Yes, first of all, I want to thank you and all the persons who participate and organize this meeting, this encounter, this synergy. I came to Lesbos with the last refugee crisis, because Lesbos have been always a bridge of cultures, a cross point for many people around the world. So during the last refugee crisis that every one of you know, in 2015, we arrived and we stayed. We didn't go back. We didn't go back because we couldn't just be bystanders, seeing all these people, humanity arriving here and suffering. So we stay first offering just humanitarian support, support that everyone could do, a bottle of water, welcome the people on the source, on the beach of Lesbos. And then we decide that the people, they are not only refugees, they are not only persecuted people, they are humans like you, like me, like everyone, and they need something more than shelter, something more than food. They need something more innovative, something to provide them a little bit, to heal, to alleviate their tortuous journey. So we start our creative platform. We start working on immediately after the arrival of the people in these rush boats. We start working with art and music. And then we are still here.
Amazing. That's so beautiful and incredible to, even in this week, just have a tiny insight into that vast experience. I'm just going to share a screen of some photos that we can talk through. Because I would love you to tell us all about some of the incredible projects and opportunities that have come about to bridge cultures. So perhaps I will share this photo here.
Yeah, this is, you want me to tell what is that?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, this is in the middle of everything that happened here that is amazing, and I think that someone must sit and recollect all this experience, all the things that happen on Lesbos, because it's not only a tragedy, it's a testimony of the life of the humanity good and bad things. This is because Lesbos is a crossroad of culture, is in the Aegean Sea, is in front of Turkey, from where many migrants arrived in 1923 after the Asia Minor disaster. Lesbos people still have very good relation with the people of Turkey. You know, they are connected. Fortunately, politics is far away, but connection and bridges still continue. So we visit one time the town of Bergamo, the city of Bergamo. We meet there an amazing group of musicians. They didn't have a professional education, professional music background, from the Roma community and the poor neighborhood of Atmaca. And we said with my daughter, with Mayra Francisca, and that we have to do something. We have to take all these musicians, not to stay them playing only in the weddings on the streets, and to make something big, to make a concert where they will perform music from Colombia, where I'm originally, music from Greece, traditional songs from Lesbos, and music from Turkey. So after a year working very hard with many rehearsals, coming and going back from Mytilene to Turkey, we finally have we launched this event, this concert, and it was just amazing. I mean, we managed to stop the barriers and to show that people can be united with innovative ideas, with art, with music. And it was just an unforgettable experience for the guys and for us.
Wow. I would love to watch a video of this performance. And would you mind to tell us about this?
This is another crazy idea. I always believe, I think I told you in the first time I meet you, that I like to put things together. I mean, there are many things that separate us, but there are more things that bring us together. Yes, simple things like a food, a piece of bread, the sky, the smile that everyone can have. So this is Ibri Gitlis. Unfortunately, he passed away 2 months ago. He was the ambassador of Goodwill of UNESCO and one of the last violin legends. He was a very good friend of us. He was a former teacher of Francisca Roca. And when we have a very sad event in Salonika, the 70 years of the first transport to the death camps to Auschwitz and Birkenau from the members of the Thessaloniki Jewish community, the Sephardi people from Salonika. So it was a huge event which leaders, political leaders from around the world. I make a call to the Brigittles. I said, listen, I want you to come to Salonika to celebrate with the people, with all faiths, all communities, and with the Jewish community around the world to commemorate this anniversary. He said, of course I will come. So I wanted to do something else. I didn't want only him to play in the synagogue or to make the master class in the memory of all the students who were exterminated in Auschwitz and Birkenau. I wanted the people from other faiths, Baptist people, Armenian, evangelical, Palestinians, everyone who was doing music in North Greece, to give the opportunity to be with this legend of music. He said, yes, we can do it. So we organized a concert in the Catholic Church where all communities participate in order to commemorate the genocide of the Congo people and Congolese people, because they were a big community in Salonika in this time, and then to commemorate and to keep alive the memory of those people, those kids, those children who never come back from the death camps. And I think it was one of the most beautiful events. It was a challenge because of political reasons, because of religious reasons, because of the cost, because of the small time we have to prepare everything. But finally, we have a wonderful result, and we pass a wonderful message to the world and to everyone that music again, art again, can bring us together.
Wow, thank you so much. And can you tell us about the children that participated? Were they part
about
of
what?
About the children that were participating?
Yes, the children, we choose children who were members of different faith community in Salonika. Just a little reminder that Thessalonica was along the history, a city, crossroad of civilization and cultures before the Second World War. Most of the communities, except with some very bad events, people used to live together, used to interact together. So I invite members from the Armenian community, I invite members from the Congolese community, Christians. I invite members from the Evangelical Church of Greece, from the Catholic Church, from the Jewish community, and all they play together. I mean, they become together, all they commemorate the memory of the people from Congo, and they commemorate the memory of those Thessalonians who never come back.
Thank you. And I would just like to reintroduce Francisca Roca, who, if those of you who weren't with us, played a beautiful improvisation on the violin to begin with, and together mother and daughter are co-founders of ArtBridges. So I have a question for you, Maria Francisca. Can you hear me, just to check in?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. And can you, I can hear you perfectly, yeah, that's great. Yeah, I just wanted to ask you in more detail about ArtBridges' work, and as a music educator, just to share with us some of the ideas, some of the methods that you use, music and art methods, to as therapy to increase young people's well-being and a sense of empowerment and creative expression.
Yes. So first of all, thank you for having us here and for attending this event. So I believe that I believe as a music educator that you cannot, in this kind of situations when you have to work with either the refugee kids or the Roma kids. First of all, they're kids. Like I was a kid, you were a kid, everyone was a child. You cannot stick just to one method. It's a combination of different methods, and even creating your own method, and whatever you need to do to engage the children and help them get closer to you, and you getting closer to them, and transmitting, if that's the right word, the best way, music education and art therapy. So in my opinion, it's many factors that you combine and bring a result. And what helped us so far, it's going above and beyond any method. And yeah.
Thank you. And when we spoke before, you mentioned a specific, I guess, a relation between taking care of the instrument and taking care of themselves. Could you expand on that for us?
So how I work is the same way we teach them to take care of the instrument, to love the instrument, to be delicate with the instrument. I linked it or connected to teaching them, or they learning to take care and love their self the same way they do with the instrument. And even if it might seem complicated that a child will understand this, but yeah, they do connect it, and you see a big improvement even after a few weeks of intense lessons. You see a big difference in them being confident and loving their self and taking care of their self.
Wow. And that was, I was going to expand on that and just ask you what differences you've experienced across the years through the power of art and music making in the young children's lives.
So I think can see like the fact that they want to attend our classes, even, you know, where, for example, the Roma kids, they live in extreme poverty, in terrible conditions, that it's unhuman, it's something horrible. It's the fact that, you know, they try so hard to come to our classes, even, you know, it's they might, we cannot completely change, you know, they have certain traditions, but we can open a small window of hope, which is, that's how they see it, a small window of hope, or a small window during the day where they are again children. They can enjoy things as music, which every children should have access to such a thing. So I feel that, as I mentioned before, even after a few classes, they come, you know, it's not just they come inside and, okay, I teach them, this is the name of this note and that's that. It's not like that. We help them, we clean them, we put them clean clothes, and they come to a warm environment. We bake them breakfast. We have, I do, before I start my violin lessons, I do breathing exercises with them. We do stretching exercises, and we repeat things such as, I love myself, I love who I am, I love where I come from.
Wow, it's so compelling, because from what I understand, you and Angela are maybe the only people who have bridged this particular community of Greek Roma in Lesvos, and I will I think I would love to share now what moved me and drew me to your work, which, as you said, are the harrowing conditions you couldn't imagine people were living on in this island and all over the world.
I want to say something.
Please do.
Yes, it's also that this is a very particular case on the island, that we have many vulnerable communities. We have an horrible situation for all the kids in the refugee camps. Very, very challenging situation, I will say. And suddenly, this small community become even more and more relegated, and their pains, their suffering, because it's normal, you know, because there is a big crisis, so everyone must support there, and somehow they become even more regulated. They become invisible, like the documentary we are going to see. So if they freeze, doesn't matter, they don't exist. They get bored because of the braziers they use in the little tents, doesn't matter, they don't have pain. They bake in the streets, they eat from the garbage, doesn't matter, they don't exist. They don't go to the school, who cares? They don't go to the school, they are not child, they don't deserve to be loved. The little girls they start to be in prostitution very early. No one cares because it's a Roma girl. So this is why it's so important what we are doing, you know, that we become like a positive point of reference for them, a safe corner, a safe place, because we just offer them, is what I say with my daughter and with the people, we respect them. We offer them love, and we give them a little smile, that they also need to have this smile, even if from after they leave our place, they have to go to the hell they have to live.
Thank you so much, Angela.
Sorry,
yes.
Sorry for
not apologize. It's so helpful to get.
I apologize.
No apologies. We need to hear this stuff because it's so far from our reality, and I'm just going to play a quick couple of clips just to get us all aware of the situation you are talking about. And
I forgot something, that the most important point also here, I said, okay, these both communities of children are separate. We have to put together, and I'm very happy I managed before the pandemic. During the pandemic, everything changed. We managed to put them together. You know, we managed to make a basket weaving workshops. We managed to play the violin together. Everyone, that is very funny, were afraid of the other. They have prejudice. The refugee kids have prejudice, and they say, oh, they are dirty, they are in the street, they are begging. And the Greek Roma kids also say they are refugees. They are going to give us some ills. What happened? But we managed to find a common point, a common goal, and to put them together, even to create little friendships. That is a very nice, you know, because both of them don't have friends from outside of their own community. They live inside of the little shell, yes, and is that. And we managed to break this and to put them together.
So special. So I'm just going to play a couple of clips, and then we're going to open it out to everybody. So I want to make sure we all have enough time to be here and here. So I'll share my screen. Okay.
Ναι, πες μου, αγάπη μου, από πού παίρνουμε το νερό που μαγειρεύουμε και τρώμε?
Από εδώ.
Από εδώ, ναι. Και με αυτό το νερό τι κάνετε?
Κλείνουμε, κάνουμε φαΐ.
Ναι, τι άλλο?
Τέτοιο.
Εντάξει, από εδώ, ναι. Εντάξει.
I mean, that situation, yeah, it's speechless. But that is, I am speechless. When I first saw the video on your Facebook, you know, it's so harrowing. It's violence. It's the deepest deprivation that a young child will have to get water in Europe from a puddle pipe. But I do want to share some of the work that you've done in this same community. This video brings that to light. I won't play the whole thing, but just an intro.
Γιαννάκη μου, πήγε από εκεί για να μην φαίνεσαι.
Oh. That's so special.
It was, can I say something?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, this is we don't work only in the art in the space we have in Mytilene that you are going to see now, but we believe that it's very important for them, for us to listen to them and to participate with the community. So we try to involve every time members of the community, the mothers, and we go very often to the slum because this is where they live, is their home, is the neighborhood, so they feel very proud, they feel nice, and they feel their self-esteem becomes a better condition if you go there. So we do that very, very often. Now during COVID, we are not allowed to go. We go only to distribute every week the hot meals and water, but not activities during COVID on the slope.
And also just to frame that during the pandemic, the refugee camps have also really tightened in the sense that you cannot go in unless you're with an organisation, and thankfully ArtBridges have a base there, and in the next weeks we're discussing how I can collaborate with them to host a new music programme, which will be such an honour and privilege, as they are my neighbours 20 minutes down the road. But here you're going to see a documentary Vice made a few years ago, and this is just a short clip of some beautiful girls going into the daycare centre, which is what Angela is hoping to sustain throughout this year. As you can see, it's a real integral space and provision for the community.
Έλα! Γεια! Ποιος σας έφερε, ο παπάς? Θα βάλετε τα παπούτσια πάνω, εντάξει? Έλα, σας βάλω λίγο νεράκι να με πρόβλημα.
σε παρακαλώ. Άντε για τσουμί.
Έχει πολύ χώμα πάνω, ναι. Πλημμυρίσατε χθες ή όχι? Τι μυρίζει? Βασιλικό.
Αν και η Άγχελα ξεκίνησε τις γέφυρες τέχνης με σκοπό να φέρει σε επαφή με τον πολιτισμό τα παιδιά που δεν έχουν πρόσβαση, πλέον προσφέρει πολλά παραπάνω.
Δίνα μου, όχι με το χεράκι. Τι μέρα είναι σήμερα?
Πέρα από τα εργαστήρια κιθάρας και βιολιού και τις εκπαιδευτικές εκδρομές που διοργανώνει για παιδιά από διαφορετικές κοινωνικές ομάδες, υποστηρίζει τα παιδιά των Ρωμά με ενισχυτική διδασκαλία, αλλά και ψυχοκοινωνική ενδυνάμωση απέναντι στις διακρίσεις που αντιμετωπίζουν λόγω καταγωγής και οικονομικής κατάστασης.
Θέλω να δω αν το κάνετε σωστά ή όχι. Πόσα καλάθια έχω εγώ εδώ?
Τρεις.
3. 3 φορές σε είδα, αλλά έχω 3 καλάθια, ναι. Τώρα...
Thank you, Angela. I would just love you to, if you have any words to share about this, and then we will open out to everybody. I would just love to hear. Yeah.
I didn't hear.
Sorry, I didn't really ask. I was just. It's okay if you wanted to say anything about.
No, I just wanted to say that we are very proud what we are doing. We start as Vice documentary said, offering psychosocial support, sharing psychosocial support, because it's interactive with this community and with the refugee community, but now the last year with the Greek Roma community, because they are really the most vulnerable on the island from the moment that they are absolutely relegated. It's very important for us what we are doing. Unfortunately, we have till now we don't have. We were working on the field, so we forgot a little bit about what is to do fundraising to find a way to make sustainable this project that become like a project and now become a point of reference even around Greece. Why? Because we managed to give a big battle for the rights of the children and fighting about through accessibility to education, through accessibility to the labor market for the parents. And our department of advocacy becomes very big, so we lost our time, unfortunately, doing advocacy because all the problems they have. And we have, I mean, it's a very big thing. It becomes a huge thing that we really dream. We want to make it sustainable, to make something innovate, and really to find a solution to make their conditions of life better. It's a very small community. We have big Greek Roma communities in the north of Greece, in Xanthi, where are 7,000, 8,000 people. We have big community in Thessalonica with 12,000 people in Drosero. So here is very easy because it's a very small community. We are talking not about more than 700 people. So it's just a question of decision or will, and to work together for something innovate and to offer them human conditions of life.
Yeah, amen. And actually that just leads me to my kind of like my offer of support, which is as a way to donate. I've found this platform which I'd like to share with you all as a way to frame an ongoing donation to ArtBridges. Let me see if this works here. Okay, so yeah, I think the context of some fundraising campaigns, there is a solution, you know, a very specific goal, and it can be solved with a specific amount of money. But with what we're hearing in this context of, especially with the refugees and Greek Roma community, there is an ongoing need. So I found this platform, which is fantastic because it's a lot more dynamic and interesting and creative. So basically anybody anywhere can go on here, and we'll share the link in the email, in the thank you email after the event, that essentially you can click on fundraise for us or create a team. And if you're creating something right now, maybe you've made a painting or poem, or you could fundraise with this, or do a baking sale or a run. You can integrate your run with the platform. It's a really like super techie thing. So yeah, even if you personally don't have the funds, understandably in this time, it's an offer for more fundraisers to happen with our ingenuity, because it is an ongoing crisis, and there is a beautiful opportunity to sustain this creative cultural centre throughout this year and beyond. And yeah, so you have that there, and this link will be sent to everybody. But there is also a PayPal link which Six will share as well. So that's all I have to say about this. I just think as we're coming to the end of the hour, we've come to the end of the hour, we still have half an hour left on the call if you'd like to stay. But I would just love to open up to the floor and have a communal time of sharing. And I'm sure there's many people on the call whose work and interests relate to loads of the themes mentioned. So feel free to take the floor. And just another point is, if you have a question, you can, it's a good time now, or even if a statement or something that you were moved by, you're welcome to share.
Hi, Kandice. Everyone's being quiet, so I'll start.
Love you.
Yeah, I just want to say hello to everybody. But also, I didn't actually want to talk because I'm super moved. So I'm going to not talk. But two things that I think really interesting. I mean, I'm super into this, what I've learned today, but I think that, you know, that video that you showed with the puddle, etc. I mean, first of all, the work you're doing is amazing. Mom and daughter, it's fantastic. And you, Kandice. And I hope to be involved in the future. That'd be fantastic. But I feel like I didn't know any of this. And I think it's important for us, for you to share, even though it's difficult material, what is actually going on. And I found that even that little clip really informative. And then I was really surprised when there's only 700 people. So 700 people, like my whole thing and motto in life is to try to look around you, close around you first and see what you could do closely. And with 700 people, I mean, it's just incredible. I thought that there was just tens of thousands, you know? So I'm so surprised that it's such a small amount of people who it's, you know, there must be quite interesting solutions, you know, or just to alleviate that small amount of human suffering is not so much with 700 people. It's a great start. So that's really what I'd like to say. And thank you. I really enjoyed this, and I'll be looking at more of what you're doing.
Thank you, Susie. And I just remember our conversation last week was just so inspiring. And I think, yeah, I remember you just saying something like food and shelter, you know, essentials, but also let's not forget that art can sustain someone throughout the whole of their lives. And as ArtBridges have mentioned, having that window into something that is outside of their circumstance, that is a hope that of something you can become, or something that you you want to, you know, pursue. And it gives that kind of solid hope to continue living through such deprivation and despair. So,
and also just, there's one thing too that she said, and it was just amazing, that I have to just bring up because I'm going to be thinking about for the next 5 days, at least, you know, just that I'm going to like call a friend and talk about this phrase, which is the fact that taking care of an instrument like you would take care of yourself is just such a fantastic, simple, beautiful thought. I think people get lost. Like, I'm struggling financially, a lot of people are, but people get lost in the simplicity of something that can change somebody's life, you know, to simply have the respect for an instrument that you would have for yourself, and to take that home and maybe discuss that experience with your parents who maybe don't have that kind of thought. Or for me, I mean, to me, that was the most visual thought that I am actually going to be speaking to some friends about today, because I think that's just beautiful.
thank you.
And I'll just say too, as an artist, like, that's what we're talking about. I really believe that art will save your life. I really believe it. You know, it's something that gets into you, and it gets into you as a child if you're exposed to it, and it will save your life. It will be with you forever. It's something you can hold on to forever, that is uniquely yours. So, you know, and it's a very simple thing. It's not gigantic. It's a simple gift.
Amen.
And I'm sure we have other artists here who maybe can talk about that as well. Or not.
Hi, Suzanne.
Hi. Thank you for having me. And yeah, it's been very moving. This last hour has overflowed me with so many memories, because I was in Lesvos from 2015 onwards, on and off, for quite a few years. I would love to know what actually is going on now, what is possible. I mean, I heard Angela say that basically they're once a week handing out bottles of water and something. So what actually is going on right at this moment? Yeah.
The one thing I just wanted to add, I think Six have the link, but there is a political campaign which has really given me a lot of hope, because we're, you know, on the ground, but just seeing that there are eyes looking on, and it's called Europe Must Act. And they're essentially, they have chapters around Europe. You can join the London chapter and just get on a Zoom call, they're on board and explain everything. They're basically lobbying for a humane migration policy. So I'd definitely direct everyone to join them.
Okay. Thank you.
And in terms of the situation here, I'm sure Angela can expand. It's really difficult to know. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, no, I just said, thank you for your question, Susan, but you mean what is about the situation of Lesbos, or what is going to be on with the situation of the Greek Roma children or the refugee children? I didn't understand very well which point you want us to.
I'm talking about now you as a organization, what you specifically are doing right at this moment.
Yes. Okay. Now we are working already in what is a preamble of the before the to have a daycare community center. Daycare implies a very difficult and a graphocratic thing, so we prefer to call like a community center where they can have from a music lesson, from an art lesson, to take a shower, to have a food if they didn't have for many days, to be safe, a safe space for them where they can develop their skills and where they can be persons or be safe if they are in danger. That happen many times. So we want to do this community center. We have a little house, but we need. And the next step now, we want to build a little hood, yeah, like they live on the slum, because if the pandemic continue, they keep more away from everywhere. So we want to come there to make periodical every week the school, no formal education for grown-up people and for the kids to do inside of the slum. So we need to do that. And then we need to be included, to participate, to go in of the new, you know, that this is the 10 years for the European Union, the 10 years of Roma policy. I mean, they are trying to how to say, empujar en español. They are promoting a new program for the development of social inclusion of Greek Roma community and Roma kids. So we wish we could be in order to realize all the, you know, sustainable developments of the United Nations. But here we need to keep alive our community center, and we need to go forward, because what we manage now is very important. And I believe that if you save one life, you save whole humanity. Yes, I mean, it's not a matter how many people you help. It's not a matter there are not 7,000 state townships. It's a matter that is alive, and life is a matter, you know. So you have to, they deserve to smile. They deserve to be child. They deserve to live like humans, you know, to have human conditions, minimal. We don't want to change them. We want to improve the conditions they have.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that's why I'm just so thankful to Six for giving this opportunity to share with you all and just pass the baton on, because each one of us cannot, you know, do it. We need the community of people. So yeah, the as Angela was mentioning, I guess the bare minimum cost for the year for the care centre is 10,000, which for some people is pocket change. So we're feeling confident that just these conversations and like you said, sharing these real explicit insights into what realities are happening here, both for refugees and Greek Roman communities. I think this is the most important thing, communicating the reality and showing that while there is a pandemic, there are still other things that really need our attention and deserve our attention. So yeah, I'm not sure how much time we have left, but please feel free if there are anyone who'd like to share
something.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's sort of like I guess another perspective. So back in 2019 to 2020, I was in France, in Marseille, so that's south of France. And I was working with a group of teenagers. So they were all boys seeking asylum in Marseille. And back then it was with Médecins Sans Frontières, so Doctors Without Borders. And there was this thing about these boys. They looked a lot older than their actual age. There is this, I don't know, wisdom or something in their eyes, that this maturity. And when I talk to them, actually some are more reserved, but some are, you know, they are outwardly just very happy. And I remember one of them would always tell me like, oh, Fia, you know, got to be happy, whatever it is in life, you've got to be happy. And then I remember I went hiking with them once. So I organized the hike, and it was quite funny because, I mean, they didn't have money to pay for it, so they would sneak into the buses and stuff. But anyway, we made it to the mountain, and then there were these like routes where these pavements where you could properly walk down. And then these boys, they were so adventurous. They just climbed down, and it felt like, you know, cliffs with trees with no proper roads. And these are the kind of Mediterranean Rocky Mountains. And then as I saw them come through the clearing, I was just like, wow, that looks so dangerous. And then the boys were just telling me like, you know, this is nothing. And they had come from Morocco or Afghanistan. So from Afghanistan, he was telling me that a lot of people die along the way, and that they had to walk, you know, thousands of kilometers like a day just to like be able to get somewhere. And the journey was really tough. And these are boys who are not even 18 yet. And I mean, that experience made me really reflect a lot about privilege. But I think at that point of time, there was limited resources, but back then I was already organizing a sort of food collection project where we went around and collected unsold food from markets and supermarkets, and then we cooked together. And I got the boys to cook together with us, and it was actually really nice. It became like this sort of family atmosphere, and I realized that in volunteering in these sort of spaces and bringing them together, especially when a lot of them feel awkward with each other, and they don't, even if they live in the same dormitory, they might not even talk to each other or know each other's names. And just having these sort of activities help to create like a semblance of a family, which actually is really positive and beneficial, not just for them, but also for me as, you know, a part of that family. And something positive that happened was that because we did have quite a lot of refugees in Marseille. One of the projects that we were doing, because I was working in an NGO, we did a project called Eyes on EU, where we did like a documentary series all over different countries. And for our part in Marseille, it was sort of a co-writing process, and then we filmed it together, people acted in it together. And then we managed to find a couple of boys who were, well, I guess they were late teens, early 20s, and they've already gotten their asylum status. They are in school. And then they were, you know, joining us for the activities, and they were so cheerful. They brought so much positive energy with them. We had a lot of fun and laughter. And then after the project ended, they were really motivated, because one of them, his dream is to be a comedian, and the other, his dream is to become an actor. And from the last that I heard of from my friend, they decided to start a YouTube channel and try and, you know, make it from there on, and to really work on their dreams. So I just wanted to like share some positivity, even though I mean, this is a topic that makes me feel really sad as well. Yeah, because the boys.
Sorry to interrupt you, Fia.
Yeah, I would just share one more sentence. I'm done. So like when they get accepted by organizations, this was the situation in France. I mean, back when we were there, when the funding ran out, they would get disseminated to different spaces. So even though there was a group there together, now they're all in different places. So, you know, the sustainability of it, it's also something to think about how to better support them. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Thank you so much. It's incredible to hear all these gems of humanity, and everyone on this call is doing such extraordinary things to usher this about, this seeing each other as ourselves and loving each other as ourselves, and using whatever gifts that are in our hand to share that and communicate that. And I would love to be able to give you a hug in person right now, but we're limited by screens. But in the last 10 minutes, if anybody else has anything to share or reflections on ArtBridges or whatever you like, this just be mindful we have 10 minutes, and I'm just going to post a link here where I will be for the after party if we were really having one, but we'll have one on Zoom and this link, so please come. We can sing some more and chat away. But I want to say huge thank you to Six and all of you for being here with us in this really moving experience. And like I said, I'm so thankful for you being here, because how that moves you when it encourages you to express that in your own communities, and then these children's stories will be passed on, and action will eventually come. And yeah.
Kandice, I have a question just about your music, and it was so beautiful to hear your voice. And I'm
not sure if you've frozen or if you're just taking it. Okay.
on the horizon for you, other than just the songbook. Like, maybe I'd love to hear more about that.
You froze, my love, but I think you just said, like, what am I doing with my music? Is that what you meant?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, just curious about your next steps with your music, and in response to this beautiful work that Angela and Francisca are doing.
Yeah. Sorry, I just thought it's someone saying goodbye. Oh, love you too, Kath. So good to see you here. So we've only just had the 6 p.m. curfew lift, which has been for months. So I'm just like waiting for instruments to arrive and to be able to afford different bits. But I'm essentially going to set up a home studio and record just as many songs and albums as possible. For all of the different songs, I want to create, depending on what the themes are, I want to, create moments like this where there's like a campaign behind it, pushing forward a certain really unseen issue and an organization. And when I do have that song No Borders recorded, I will be raising funds for ArtBridges and other grassroots organizations here. So yeah, that's my plan, really, to have, there's more to it, but essentially have a platform that people can receive the music, maybe like a membership situation, because it will all be for free, but as a way to sustain myself and my creativity, to have a membership where there's that support, and I can just create videos, music, the whole thing, photos. But yeah, that's as soon as I get these missing bits of equipment, that's what I'm doing in my Noah's Ark up here.
If you created a Patreon page in direct connection to this, I think that would be a really beautiful way of specifically engaging regular contribution from people with your music, and also on a social innovation level, fundraising through that could be a good strategy.
Thank you. I have looked at Patreon. There's this sister company called Memberful, which integrates to your website, which is what I've already started doing. So as soon as I have that link, I'll share it out and be super grateful, because I do not have income, but Wayfinder has been such a blessing for that. And, I have a strong faith that doing what we're called to do will be sustained, and some wonderful people on the call here. There's no pressure to speak or to show yourselves, but we have, I just want to thank you again, Angela and Maria Francisca Roca. Like, honestly, just the depth that you've shared, and especially the time frame we had to prepare. I bless you. Hi, Rade.
You did a big job. Thank you.
And my sister is on the call. Hey, Ellie. Hello. Oh, I love you.
Mommy.
And my mom. Hello.
Amazing.
But yeah, we will send the link out as a thank you, so you can keep in touch, and this will be ongoing conversation.
Kandice, I just wanted to say thank you for the beautiful music and conversation today. And I'm just like thinking a lot about the lyrics to your song, like pick up your freedom and find home, and kind of thinking about what home means at the moment for different people. And yeah, just kind of reflecting on that constantly. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, just to say about in that song, the 3 verses start, and I intentionally wanted to kind of begin with it focused on me, but then the collective we, and then a specific scenario for a refugee. And this was before I'd come here. I was living on a different Greek island, Paros, where my wonderful friend Matt in the corner, he's currently there. And yeah, just as a way to highlight like how awesome it is to travel this earth, discover who we are, and discover the enchantment of different cultures and rhythms and language and ideas that can only happen if you move. And then as a way of then just kind of like provoking a truth that we have to acknowledge, that migration is part of human life. Since antiquity, it's the way that the world works, and such a kind of limiter on that and put policies in place against that is inhumane, and we know what it is. And so that song is there, and when I record it, I will have a friend who is living in one of the camps to give some of his story on this recording, so that it's not just me writing about his situation, but part of that. I love that everyone's so formal. I want to do something too.
Matt may have raised a hand. I'm not sure if it's a hand or.
Oh, it was like hi, like that.
Hello.
Oh, so great to
beautiful cat.
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, this is Nelson. He's a stray kitten that turned up not that long ago, that's become my best buddy here. And I just wanted to say thank you so much. Thank you for the work that you're doing, all of you, and you, Kandice, for communicating and connecting in this way and sharing this story. The reason I wanted you to say hello to Nelson was because just being in the company of a creature who was abandoned has made me reflect a huge amount on what humanity is and how we share and we give. And I had to dive in and out of your session this afternoon. I've had some other commitments on, but I saw enough to be deeply moved and to want to contribute somehow. I don't quite know how. Like you, I'm waiting for equipment to come over from England, piecing the story together very slowly and very beautifully over here in Paros. I'm in Paros. And yeah, I just wanted to say I hear you loud and clear. And if there's ways I can help, either with production on the material that you're doing, or musicianship, or just any kind of support that you want, then let's talk. Let's have a chat and see what we can cook up, because we've already started the conversation, but we haven't had a chance to catch up, and this seems like the right time and the right place to say, I hear you loud and clear with the work that you're all doing, and if I can help, then I'm here.
Oh, thank you, Matt. That's so special, and getting tingles. I'm so excited. One island to the next, and then when there's possibility, you can come here and we can do some workshops with ArtBridges in the camp and and in the slums.
Absolutely.
All possible. So.
Yeah, and until, because there's so much unpredictability at the moment, then, you know, by remote is good enough right now. You know, we can share files, we can communicate with each other, and like I say, however I can help, I'll bring it to the table, and let's talk in the very near future about what that means.
Thank you. And just another thing to mention, we have I think I said it at the beginning, tomorrow we have probably 150 people already confirmed for this collective listening to a symphony. Myself, Ailey, Fia, and the other Oride, and other artist composers created together in 6 different countries, across time zones and Zoom, and just put our heart and soul into trying to honor the complexities of people's lives from the Wayfinder last year. So feel free to register and join us as we listen to 24 minutes of music, and I'm sure it will be very moving. Hey, Ali.
I just like to say that the sound of Lesvos is in that 25 minutes. The sound of the thunder and the sound of the ocean, and the spirit of this work is in that symphony. The sound of it is in the global sounding that we created, and it felt very much as Kandice, as the artistic director of the symphony, really held something very important by being physically there where she is right now. So want to honor that.
Thank you for the reminder, because actually the just briefly, I guess the intention to kind of replicate or capture dissonance and chaos was fairly easy. The thunder and lightning that happens on this island is louder and more vicious and violent than I've ever heard in England. And while I'm safe and dry here, I was just heartbroken and enraged, and I don't know how to. I couldn't find the words really for how people in the slums and how people living in the tents on the seashore are experiencing that level of fear and anxiety and cold and all of the rest. And so a few times it happened, so I put my iPhone outside and just captured some of that noise that is part of the Wayfinder symphony. And then there was moments, I'm very blessed to live right near the sea, and just take some field recordings from the sea and the goats that are in the next field, all these different things that we just brought in the outside in to the music.
Hi Dee.
Hi, Mummy.
Hello everyone. I know you like me to be a bit formal on this kind of platform, but you know me. I just want to say that I am so proud of you, and I love your heart and your passion and your compassion for people. And I just love you so much, and I'm so proud of you, and so proud that you are brave and fulfilling God's calling on your life. And I just want to say well done. This is a fantastic platform, and we really appreciate you. And the music that you did at the beginning with the On the Water is so powerful. To hear you playing that, it's just like, wherever someone is at, they can really draw from that and keep on with the songwriting. And
I miss you.
Well done. I miss you too. And as soon as lockdown is open, we'll be coming over. And I really want to get involved in what's going on over there. Really do.
You'll love Angela. Angela, meet my mom, and I would love you to connect.
Hi, Angela. Hello, everyone.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, very emotional now.
You're late to the party. We've all been emotional.
No, I've been.
Yeah, this is the right place.
Been off screen. But thank you everyone for your support as well. It's great that we've all got this heart and this passion for people who are marginalized. And, you know, I think we take for granted what we really have, but we're rich compared to those who don't even have a home. You know, they have
I believe we always have to say thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Whenever the condition we have, because we are so lucky, we are so blessed that we have everything what we have. Yes.
Yeah.
And our music, beautiful voices, and soul like Kandice. I mean, if you put all together, you improve the world. We cannot change, definitely. Yes, it's very difficult to change, but we can improve.
Yeah.
And we can give a little hope. We can give a solution, perhaps.
That's right.
There is that cliche that says there is no heart without art, and that the feelings, what I've learned most throughout this Wayfind journey is that the feelings, because there were so many points, and Ali will resonate with this, there were so many points that we had this weight of material, of conversations, of anguish, of pain, of fear, anxiety, and everything, and joy and solutions to listen to, and to try and translate that work was beyond us, except for the fact we realized that where we feel those things, someone else does. And I think it's from that place that hopefully I really feel we are in that space now, that we're realizing that we do have power individually to speak about these things, because we grasp it ourselves, and with whatever means we have, we can create something, a pot, you know, and have that be raw and real. I think that's definitely what I've learned through this journey, is to not have things polished and perfected like I assumed I had to be as an artist or a human being, but actually just showing up as our authentic selves is needed, and that's also the only way we can really connect with people in these situations. And Angela, I don't know the full story, but presumably only by being so authentic has been able to build a relationship with the Greek Roma community, where so many other perhaps would not have been able to enter in such a, you know, a strong culture and a guarded culture. So yeah, I'm so thankful for this Wayfinder, and it's hard to process because it's not finished yet, but I will deeply miss this whole journey of discovering how to be more authentic.
We have to do another one. Thank you so much, everyone, and I hope we can see you all tomorrow at the final symphony as well, and have a chance to kind of listen together to the final symphony and continue this conversation. But and Kandice, you have an after party Zoom address you want to share? Because we at 16, we're now, after this call, we're going to prepare for the tomorrow's meeting.
So I'll be here. It's so odd.
So everyone who's going to the
non-physical
place,
but
the Zoom link.
Yeah, and I really just have to thank God as well for the way I met Angela. Honestly, I looked on Facebook Marketplace for a guitar. None came up, and it only came up a flute. And I've been playing these instruments only very, very recently, but I kind of felt there was a bit of limitation and that I needed a full flute. So I looked at this flute and it was quite expensive. So I messaged the lady saying, I love the flute, but sorry, I can't, afford it. And she said, no, don't worry. I'd like to meet you. Come, let's meet. And so I met her. And this was Angela. So it's an extraordinary story of what also all the things that God is doing here is just extraordinary things, even in the midst of such a seemingly, you know, just such a stripped back version of our usual lives. The extraordinary can still happen, and I feel so blessed to. That's why I've felt so compelled to offer this space to ArtBridges, because it's so significant in my life here. So yeah, I'm not very good at ending sentences. So I think we have probably like 2 minutes left, but if anyone has any closing thoughts or anything, you're welcome.
Candice, would someone, or would you like to guide us in just a closing prayer to God, to Spirit, to just pray for these beautiful people and the people that are wholeheartedly in support and opening to compassion? And I guess maybe I want to offer the prayer, but a prayer, and I'd love to hear one from you, is may God, Spirit, Creator, come in the most beautiful ways to those who are in need, and really through Wayfinder, through this project, uplift their spirits and their daily lives in a way that is nourishing and sustaining and humane. And may music flow to many more who are in need of hope, connection, and possibility at this time on the planet.
Amen. Thank you so much, Eileen. Yeah, and Jesus, I just thank you, Lord, that you came for the one. You came for the individual, Lord, the ones who are lost and broken and in poverty and in sickness. These are the ones that you see and that you lift up. So I just thank you for seeing them and for bringing Angela and myself and Francisca together to raise the volume on their plight, and that through the gifts you've given us of art and love and compassion, that actually change can happen in these lives, and these lives are not lost to society, but you want to redeem them and bring them into the fullness of life that they're created for. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I love you guys.
See you in another Zoom room.
I'll see you in another Zoom room. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank you all.
We finish? Should I close? Bye. Thank you very much. Thank you. So.
Thank you, Angela. Mucho gusto. No sabía que eras colombiana.
Sí, ¿y tú de dónde eres?
Yo vivía en México. Pero
ay, bueno, me hubieras traducido.
Ya sé.
Un placer conocerte y que estemos en contacto, ¿sí? Mucho gusto. Hasta luego y gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Chao, chao.
Chao. Hey.